Welcome back to the final part in a series of 3 videos that took me way too long to come back to, but because of that, what I actually want to talk about has become more tangible. So remember back in the first video when I said this? And was almost watching the show out of spite to make a look how far Disney has fallen and what they could be making instead type of video. Yeah, I'm still talking about Wish because what happened? We are experiencing a renaissance in Western animation where the industry is no longer dominated by 2 companies and more smaller projects are being greenlit and given a chance. Blue Eye Samurai is just one small part in a watershed moment in animation, so let's talk about it. But first, we need to go back to when the show was first released back in November of 2023, because there was another major release from another major studio that is the antithesis of Blue Eye Samurai. Wish. 100 years of animation, 100 years of excellence, 100 years of being the gold standard that all other animated projects have been held to. So why did it feel so flat? Look, I've made it no secret that I have a disdain for Disney in recent years and how they've handled their animation projects. Disney has found a formula that works, and they have shoehorned that formula into every setting that they can pump out their movies to appeal to as many people as possible for as little money and as efficiently as possible. The result is films that feel like they were created for an algorithm rather than films that make you feel something that are created by passion. But what on earth could I possibly have to back this claim up? In 2010, Disney made a movie about a quirky, sheltered, optimistic princess that breaks free from control to find out that the big world is both beautiful and dangerous, goes on a journey of self-liberation and finding herself to accept all of the beauty and danger in the world. Fantastic. We love a good hero's journey of self-empowerment, and I genuinely love Tangled. In 2013, Disney made a movie about a quirky, sheltered, optimistic princess that breaks free from control to find out that the big world is both beautiful and dangerous. She then goes on a journey of self-liberation and finding herself to save her sister. Fantastic. We love a Wait a minute. In 2016, Disney made a movie about a quirky, sheltered, optimistic princess that breaks free from control to find out that the big world is both beautiful and dangerous. She then goes on a journey of self-liberation of finding herself to save her people. Fantastic. We love a representational hero's journey of self... Hold on. In 2021, Disney made 2 movies about quirky, optimistic princesses that... Look, I love Tangled. Again, genuinely one of my favorite Disney films and one of the best Disney films of all time, in my opinion. I think Frozen is a pop culture touchstone that reignited Disney animation. Sure, it has problems, but I think a lot of the hate for the film comes from the marketing and the fact that it was everywhere. Moana is an important film for representing cultures around the world. Encanto has a good message and some catchy songs, and I actually didn't think that Raya was that bad. That's the problem. It wasn't that bad. That's not good enough when you are the company that prides itself on being the forefront of animation entertainment. Disney seems to be happy to make films that fill the SEO top search result for animated movie rather than making films that are meant to connect with individual people in their audience, and it's rubbing off on their sister company. Pixar's most recent film has thankfully bucked the slump, but in order to do so, they had to do it with a sequel to Inside Out. Pixar hasn't made a notable new IP film since 2017 with Coco? Elemental was marketed as a piece on racism that was going to blow people away with its charged message, but it ended up reading as yet another safe, basic rom-com. Lightyear was forgettable, Turning Red borrowed heavily from the formula above. Yes, Luca is charming, but it felt more like a short film rather than a major motion picture. Soul was alright. Onward was an interesting premise that failed to do anything with it. Toy Story 4 was pretty to look at, and Incredibles 2 failed to do anything interesting with one of the best IPs Pixar has ever made since the original Toy Story. All of this brings us to 100 years of Disney and Wish. The movie that was meant to be a celebration of 100 years of excellence. A movie about a quirky, sheltered, optimistic princess that breaks free from the control to find out that the big world is both beautiful and dangerous, and then she goes through a journey of self-liberation and finding herself. A movie so formulaic and auto-tuned and soulless that when it was released, there was actually a controversy as to whether or not AI had been used to help write and animate it. But this time, the formula didn't work. Critics and audiences alike universally panned this one, and its budget of an estimated $175 to $200 million turned into a box office result of $240 million. Now, don't get me wrong, $240 million is a lot of money. But for context, another animated film that was released in 2023 was Into the Spider-Verse, with a budget of $90 million that received $690 million worldwide. Now, I know the question that you are thinking right now is, Walrus, it's been X minutes into the video, and you still haven't talked about Blue Eye Samurai yet. I thought this was a Blue Eye Samurai video. I know. I'm getting there, just hang with me, we're getting there. Disney's formula isn't working anymore, and I have a theory as to why. Frozen not only reignited Disney animation, but the animation industry as a whole. Companies became interested in making animated projects again now because it was proven that it could still be profitable. I don't think it's a coincidence that just a year after Frozen's release, plans about an animated Spider-Man film that was in pre-production were leaked. When Into the Spider-Verse was released, it shook the entire industry with its unique animation that pushed the boundaries of what animation as a medium could do. Also showing that not all audiences want a hyper-realistic, glossy animation look. Since then, the doors have been blown off the hinges, and the studios that are winning right now are not the Goliath sisters of Disney and Pixar, but smaller studios that are willing to take creative risks. One of those smaller studios quietly releasing banger after banger has been Netflix's animation department. Netflix as a company doesn't make the films and shows they release. Instead, they are a production company that hires studios to make projects to be released on the platform. And yes, there have been quite a few duds, but there have been some absolute standouts. Klaus, The Sea Beast, Nimona, Pinocchio, The Midnight Gospel, Inside Job, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, The Cuphead Show, Arcane, Picking Up Scavenger's Reign, Devil May Cry, the Castlevania, both series, and now Blue Eye Samurai. See, told you I'd get there. This is a show that was written for people, not an algorithm. A story of two strong female leads updating the Western samurai genre with a modern twist on the ideas of Kiri and Ninjo that takes risks and is not for everyone. And this is one of the best shows to be released, period. Everything about this show screams passion and a deep respect and love for the story they were telling. From how the storyboarding process was approached with the idea of it being a real grounded live action show, to how the fight scenes were fully choreographed and mocapped, or even how every character feels authentic and lovingly crafted. In a new age of social media where YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram are at the forefront of information, marketing is having less and less of an impact on a project's performance. Rather, a film's ability to connect with an audience and move them is what is driving success right now. There is no more hiding behind a formula or a strong marketing push. If a project isn't good, people will find out very, very quickly. And if a project is good, word will spread very quickly, and communities will spring up around it overnight. And the show seems to know this. This is not a marketable show. I think I saw one short trailer before the show's release, and that was it. I don't think Netflix really had a marketing budget for this show, and yet, because of social media, This show absolutely exploded and was thrust into the limelight. It takes creative risks with a mature story and a Western animation style. And let me be clear, when I say mature story, I mean an emotionally mature story. Yeah, sure, there's gore, nudity, adult jokes and themes, but when I say a mature show, what I mean is that these characters have real depth to them. We have a remarkable villain that is unapologetically evil for understandable reasons. Side characters like Saki, who I have no doubt will play a bigger role in future seasons and become a side protagonist, Ringo, and the Sword Father are written so well and with so much care that you connect with them in what little time they have on screen. Blue Eye Samurai deserves every bit of praise and recognition that it has received, and I believe both its existence and success is a result of a stagnated industry that craved innovation. I am so happy that we are now entering an era where creative projects are being released to the public and are getting the attention they deserve to raise to the top. Blue Eye Samurai is a shining example of what happens when passion comes before profit. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say, thank you. Thank you for an incredible season 1, and we look forward to what you have in store. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Just wanted to pop up here really quickly and say I have been more active on Patreon. I need to be more active to meet my goals of how much stuff that I want to put out on Patreon, but I have been more active. You can check it out. There's a link down there. You get access to new videos before anybody else. Sometimes there are things that make it into the Patreon videos that don't make it into the YouTube videos because of YouTube copyright stuff. Fun times. Also, I'm trying to do at least a video a week, as well as doing some videos with the lovely Furple. We've been collaborating on a lot of stuff. Also, I have been trying to start streaming again. I'm trying to nail down a schedule that I can do that, but my life is very busy with university stuff. So, trying to figure all of that out at twitch.tv/FlyingWalrusMan if you want to check out the live streams. I think that's really it. If you don't want to give me money directly, please don't. You don't have to do that. Just interact with the video, give it a like, comment your favorite nostalgic TV show that nobody remembers and maybe was just a Mandela effect of your childhood. Make YouTube give me their money. That is a much better option. As always, thank you guys so much. Love you all. Bye.